Yes, hey everyone, Kevin Plowy here from Yahoo Entertainment. I'm very excited to be here in New York today hosting a Build series chat with Gabrielle Dennis, star of Marvel's Luke Cage. In just a minute, we're going to have Gabrielle here to talk live about her new role as Dr. Tilda Johnson. First though, here's a look at Gabrielle along Mike Colter in season 2 of Luke Cage, premiering on Netflix June 22nd.
You here for pain reliever?
No. I was actually wondering if you might have sold something in one of these recently.
Well, yeah. Anytime I sell dried herbs, which is many times a day, I usually bag it up in one of those.
This would have been to a large Jamaican man.
Those are half my customers. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you know where your strength comes from?
Well, it's a long story, wrapped up in a lot of baggage.
Sometimes when we unpack baggage and repack it, it's not as heavy. Wanna give it a try?
Gabrielle, how you doing today? Give it up, please. In the building, in the build.
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Everyone's good? Everyone's looking good?
Everyone's good. Everyone is
Love
good
that.
here.
Yeah.
You must be real good because Luke Cage season 2 is about to premiere tomorrow night.
Tonight.
Tonight at midnight, right?
Yeah,
Tonight at midnight.
So like when you wake up in the morning, binge watch that thing. Y'all don't have nothing to do on Friday? Like, take off of work.
I thought you said binge watch that thing for a second. Binge watch.
Watch that time.
Yes.
But yeah, it drops at midnight, Pacific Standard Time, so 3 o'clock in the morning this time. Some of you might be nightbirds, might be on your 7th drink. I don't know how you live your life, but we will be there for you at that hour. And
Hey, the bars are open here till 4.
So there you go.
So go out to the bars, get a little loose, come home.
And get more loose.
And get loose.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But you are one of the featured new characters on season 2.
Yes.
Dr. Tilde Johnson. I love this character as it's set up in the clip so well. I think one of the things that I love about her is right from the get-go, you can't she's intriguing, but you can't quite get a handle on her motivations, which fits so seamlessly into this show, by the way, because there's a lot of, especially in season 2, there are a lot of lines being blurred between hero and villain.
Absolutely.
But tell us in your own words a little bit about Miss Tilda.
Well, like you said, you find Tilda, you don't really, even in that clip you guys showed, I mean, I felt like Luke was not buying anything I was saying. You know, so it was like, let me try a new approach.
He's seen this act before.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we find Tilda plopped in the middle of this new universe and in this new world on Luke Cage. She's in Harlem. She's an entrepreneur. She has her own shop called Mother's Touch. And she's a holistic doctor, so she deals with a lot in natural herbs and medicines and helps out with the people. And, she's trying to help the community. And then in walks her estranged mother, played by Alfre Woodard. She plays Mariah Dillard on the show. And obviously that woman comes with a lot of heavy baggage, dark demons, and other things.
Speaking of lines blurred in terms of these characters.
So basically because they're linked as family, you got to find a lot of dark family secrets that are going to be revealed. And they're really juicy secrets, but they're really bad, really bad. It's like, oh, that's in my DNA. And so then you're going to go on this journey with her. And she also crosses that blurred line of do I do something bad for the betterment of everyone else? So I think a lot of our characters on the season kind of struggle with that. So it's going to be really interesting. And there's so much that I want to say and I can't, which is horrible. But luckily, it's just in the morning.
Just say it all.
You're going to go to bed. You're going to wake up, and then you'll get it.
Yeah. Well, we don't want it too spoiled, right?
Right.
You've done a lot of great TV up until this point. Rosewood, Insecure. I love that show. Blue Mountain State. What was the process for locking this in? Is this something that you had to audition for?
Yeah, I had to audition. It was obviously top secret. I didn't know what, there was a different character name, a different show name, and all those things. They did have me sing a part of my audition because they didn't know what direction they were really going to go with the character at that time. So I was like, sure, let's sing a song, let's do a little ditty, 1, 2, hit it, and and the next thing I know, like they want me. I find out what it was for, and I was like, whoa, this is really huge.
Did you even know that it was for Marvel?
I didn't initially know, but I think once it was confirmed that I was going in, because I was still in Rosewood at the time under contract, but we got canceled, and then literally the next day they were like waiting. They were waiting to see what was happening with that show, to see if I was cleared to come in for Luke Cage, because they don't like to waste their time showing producers that they can't have you, So I go in, I audition, I sang, I got to meet Cheo, the creator of the show, and 2 weeks later, maybe I was here in New York from LA, and I was like, whoa, I got that call, and it's like, welcome to Marvel. But don't you say nothing. So it's just like, yay, but not really, because we'll kill you.
Right.
So
well, yeah, you can talk a little bit about Tilda now. And
I can't now, but at the time, I could even say I was attached to the show.
You couldn't say anything.
No, it was like 2 months. Like I couldn't speak about it.
Yeah.
So I'm very active. Coming from like a network show, I was very active on social media, and it's like all about like getting the audience engaged and like interacting with the fans. And then it was just like, bye, guys. You won't hear from me for a while until I'm allowed to say something, because I don't want to screw up.
Right.
So I didn't even tell my mother for like 2 whole months.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter can get you into all sorts of trouble, as has been well documented in all walks of life.
Absolutely.
What was did you have any, so you go out for the show, you don't even know immediately that it's a Marvel show. You find out that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about that mythology? Do you have geek cred?
Not a lot of geek cred. It's my application's pending, but I I was familiar with Luke Cage because of this first season.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't necessarily familiar with Tilda Johnson, but I had heard of her alter ego Nightshade. So I kind of go online and kind of figure what that is, and I'm like, ooh, this girl, she's kind of cool. She had like Afro puffs and like tight clothes. I was like, now do I gotta wear the leather and the bikini? So I was just like, what's going on? But obviously that world on the comic character and this one aren't necessarily the same, at least not that I know of yet. But I did research that, and then obviously getting to talk to Cheo a little bit about the character and like going over those dynamics. But I love Marvel. I mean, Marvel does such a great job with a lot of their television and film. So it was just exciting to be a part of that. So I'm a baby geek. I got baby geek cred.
Yeah. Who do you submit that application to, by the way? Comic-Con? Who does that go to?
Yeah, Comic-Con. Yeah. I sent it to my agency, my publicist.
Stan Lee. I feel like he's got to sign off at some point.
Yeah,
Cheo, of course.
Yeah, so Cheo's already vouched for me, so I'm good. I'm almost in.
Oh, okay, good. Well, yeah, you mentioned Nightshade, and that's a big question with this character, right? Like if you know the comics, you know that she's gonna turn into Nightshade at some point. We think we don't. Well, this is like as you also mentioned, this is a different world.
Yeah.
Right? This is a much more grounded, real life spin on these comic books.
Yeah.
These shows definitely take a different approach from like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, even though they're all part of the same world. But what can you say at this point about Tilda's evolution in season 2?
I will say that she definitely grows, and she goes on a journey that's very clear. And there's some powerful scenes with Alfre Woodard, who drops a lot of bombs on Tilda that kind of lead her in a direction that makes her change her journey and her initial outlook on life. And it's just kind of, she just has all these things that are laid in her lap, and it kind of comes down to it being about legacy and about your name, and like everyone's fighting for legacy and family and all those things. So eventually, I think what I will say, there's a surprise waiting for you if you can make it to the end of the series.
Well, that was kind of a surprise too, that she was Mariah's daughter. Because I mean, my geek cred is moderate, but I know enough to know that they're not actually related in the source, right? So that was a spin, right? Were you tell us about working with? We had Alfre in here yesterday, living legend.
Yes.
Tell us about working with her.
Well, you said it. I mean, she's really great, but aside from being like this huge force of nature that is Alfre Woodard as far as the talent, she's just a great person. Like, she's full of this energy, and she gives energy, and like she's just fun. And like I said, the work we got to do together, these scenes I think are going to be talked about a lot. Our storyline and our dynamic, not only just like, I mean, girls in here, we've all had, usually there's that stereotype of like the mother-daughters always have issues. We reach that age, but like whatever you went through your mom, trust me, you will not trade it in to have this relationship with Mariah Diller. Like, you will be calling your mom like, Mommy, I love you. So, yeah, it's pretty good stuff. And yeah.
You know what? It's always good to have a reminder to call your mom.
Yeah.
You know, we could all use that.
We could all.
Let's talk about this guy right here, Mike Colter. He is a delightful dude. What has been your experience working with him?
He's cool. He's funny. Actually, he and Alfred, they crack me up. They always like have their little banter back and forth. But he's just a gentle giant, you know. Very fun, very funny, family guy, beautiful wife and kid. And I got to see actually all of us last night. We had like Alfred threw this cast dinner for us to kind of get things geared up. We're all so excited, and everybody was there last night, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so yesterday, Alfred, Mike, Theo, and Mustafa dropped by, and you could just tell by their chemistry that you guys have a ball on this set. How would you describe the vibe while making this series?
Yeah, for me, I think it was less a ball of fun initially for me because it was like I'm the new kid on the block, and I just kind of was like traipsing, like tread lightly, don't do anything, don't say anything, don't screw this up, girl. So it was just like getting there. It was I was kind of in awe, I think, of the whole situation, and just being in New York and being like I was watching the series with these people. And now I'm at a table read with them, you know. But we had fun. I mean, obviously we're dealing with a lot of heavy material, so there was times you were just kind of, you know, in that space, and you know. But anytime we had a chance to laugh and crack jokes and talk music and talk sports, well, the guys talk sports. I don't know anything about sports. I can bowl really well for 2 games, then my arm's tired. But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Well, you mentioned filming in New York. I mean, Harlem is such a key character of this series. And Marvel in general, I mean, has such a long storied past with New York City. I mean, Marvel was founded here. You have the greats like Stan Lee, a couple of the creators of Luke Cage are New York natives.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, Steve Rogers, Captain America, come from
Geek Craig.
I know where they're from. Many of them from New York City, including Luke Cage. But tell us about like what your experience, because you guys are on the ground in Harlem. I mean, this is practical sets. You guys are real live businesses. I'm sure the streets are blocked off. Mike was talking about the fact that he can't even live in Harlem anymore because he's being stalked by Luke Cage fans. But what has been your experience up there?
I mean, it's great, the energy of New York in general, but there's like this history and this element of Harlem that is just, especially being Black. I mean, this is like, I remember reading and learning about Harlem Renaissance, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, you're standing in front of these brownstones or the Apollo Theater and just seeing this artwork and just kind of like, I'm walking amongst a time and space that, you know, these things were really happening on these streets. So that was kind of special to me. But then I love like New Yorkers in general, just this bravado and this attitude. Like, you know, when we're filming on streets and they block them off because we're filming, usually people are polite. At least I found in Los Angeles. In Harlem, they're like, the guy is like walking through like, man, bleep your show. I got places to be. Like, you know, it's like the dude's on a time schedule. He's like, I don't care about your scene. I got to get to work, you know?
Right.
So that's funny. Like, I love stuff like that.
Yeah, they don't have time to be starstruck. It's like,
no,
you're annoying them by getting in their way.
Yeah.
They got places to be. You are from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep.
The Natty.
The Natty, the nasty Natty.
They still call it the Natty.
I guess that's what they call it.
They did at some point. DJ High Tech, 90s hip hop.
Look at you. Okay. Hip hop cred.
I'm also a hip hop nerd.
Okay.
I'm also a hip hop nerd. But tell us a little bit about your journey from Cincinnati to Netflix. Did you start acting there?
Yes. Actually, I started off as a dancer. I thought I wanted to be Misty Copeland before I even knew who she was. I thought I wanted to be like a ballerina. I was going to move to New York, you know, join the Dance Theater of Harlem or the New York Ballet Theater Company. And because it was a performing arts school, you had to train in other, disciplines. So I did theater, I did music theater, and I did dance. And then from there, my mother wanted me to have something to fall back on. Joke's on you, Mom. So I ended up going to my last 2 years of school. I switched to a different school where the program was a communications program. So we had a studio kind of like this, and we ran the gamut from having newspaper to television productions and all those things. So I kind of got my feet wet in TV production. So that's what I went to college for. I actually studied in communications, and I minored in theater.
At HU?
At HU?
Yes.
You know? No, nobody. Okay.
No.
That's fine. That's cool.
Howard
That's
University?
Fine. Howard University's in the house, Washington, D.C., nation's capital. It was a great time, especially moving from Ohio. It was just kind of like very black and white. There was no mixed bag of like culture and diversity and food and like fashion and like so moving to DC was like the big city for me, so that was great. And then when I was at Howard, I was on a TV series that was focused on teens called Teen Summit, and I was like one of the little baby co-hosts, and kind of got my feet wet. And then next thing I knew, I was working at like restaurants, working my way through college. I was a what do you call those, hostess, and I worked my way up to a restaurant manager. And then I was like, I got to get out of here because I'm never I'm going to be stuck if I keep doing this, because the money was good. I was like, all right. And then I ended up working at like 6 other amusement park, singing in one of their top 40 shows, and it was air conditioned, guys, so don't feel so bad for me.
Who were you?
We did like everything from Christina Aguilera to Beyonce to Destiny's Child to Celine Dion, Ricky Martin. Like we covered the bases, and we had a blast. And then from there, it was like it kind of bit my performer bug again, and I wanted to be back on the other side of entertainment. And so I quit my job, and I took $800 and I drove to LA, and the rest is history from there. Yeah.
We were talking about this a little bit backstage, but Howard is like becoming a breeding ground for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Your co-star Simone
That's right.
Missick went to Howard. Chadwick Boseman, a.k.a. Black Panther, went to Howard. You also mentioned your musical career, your background in music. So you've got a busy year. In September, we're going to see you portray the late, great Whitney Houston on a BET miniseries, The Bobby Brown Story. That could not have been any pressure at all, portraying one of the greatest voices of our time.
No, it was no pressure.
You're cool. You're cool.
No, it was definitely, it comes with that weight of knowing who she is and how people feel about her and adore her and love her, myself included. So every day it was just kind of focusing on trying to do her justice and portray her in a way that felt real and honest, but respectable at the same time. And that's a fine line when so many people have a strong opinion and an affection towards someone that they already know versus you portraying a fictional character. They can kind of go on a journey with you versus a preconceived ideas of what and how they want this person to be seen. But, getting to talk to people that have worked with her, talk to her ex-husband Bobby Brown, working with Babyface on the movie. It was great. Like, it was a great experience, and the guy that plays young Bobby Brown, I mean, he's awesome. People have seen him in the New Edition story initially, and we had a good time. So I'm thinking it's gonna do well.
What kind of insight did you get from Bobby Brown?
Oh my gosh, just a lot of like specifics, like when he would come on set, and it would just kind of like there'll be like a moment. I mean, I try not to give stuff away, but like there'll be like a moment in a scene, and he would come over and say, and whisper in my ear something that she said specifically, or like a way or a mannerism or some type of moment that they had, be it a touch, be it a look, be it a verbal thing. And I thought that was kind of nice, because I feel like sometimes there's moments then that people that actually knew her personally, that's for them. Like those little moments for them when they get to watch, because they know that is a Whitney-esque thing that she does, or something specific that they remember in that moment as well.
What was that audition process like? Are you actually performing her songs?
No, I don't think they can afford a Whitney Houston music. No, I'm kidding. But because it's the Bobby Brown movie, it's his story, so it's going to be a lot of his music.
Got it.
His musical career, his journey. So it picks up from where he left New Edition to current day. So it covers a lot in those 2 nights. But I do get to sing, just not any Bobby Brown. I mean, not any Whitney Houston music. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to get your, we're going to go to an audience Q&A in a minute.
Yeah.
But first, I want to get some pop culture picks from you, because we've talked a little bit music, we've talked about movies, TV. What is the best movie you've seen recently?
Black Panther.
Yes, agreed. What TV show are you obsessed with right now?
Ooh,
aside from Luke Cage season 2.
I'm trying to think of what I just finished Dear White People. I have a lot of friends on there. More Howard folks. I can't think. Like right now, I haven't watched TV in a couple of weeks, so my brain feels stale.
That's a good pick. Dear White People is great. Justin Simeon is killing it.
Yeah, and I love comedies. I love stand-up. I love yeah, I just have a mixed bag of things that I like to watch. But definitely it's Netflix stuff because what's great is because of my schedule, it's hard to like sit down and like schedule like weekly what I want to watch. But yeah, having fun.
What are you listening to right now, music-wise?
Actually funny to say, and this isn't even because we were just talking about that, but I was getting this morning and on my Pandora was listening to the Whitney Houston channel because she kind of just sets you in this mood and this tone. And it was really early. Like at first it was when I turned it on, some Missy Elliott song came on and it was banging and it was loud. And it was like, that's good. But I was like, it is 6 a.m. and it is early. And I'm sure the people next to me in the room are like, can you turn that down?
Yeah, you got to ease into the day.
You got to ease
into that morning.
you got to ease to the rap and the hip hop. But like Whitney and, you know, the things that come on with her, you know, Mariah and Celine, all those songs kind of warm you up and ease you into your day.
Are you pursuing a musical career?
You know what?
In the meantime,
I actually was in a music group years ago. Obviously, we weren't successful.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would know who I was. And
out of the Natty?
Actually, there was one in Maryland and one in L.A.
Okay.
But I'm not going to block my blessings. I mean, I sing and I write music, and I actually wrote a song for Luke Cage season 2 that is going to drop on the soundtrack tomorrow as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a musician, you gotta love the soundtrack. I mean, they got the best in the game. Adrian Young, Ali Shaheed Muhammad from A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, and there's there's genius in like going to the sound studio where they record the music and like listening to like the live orchestra play. Like it's an experience, and it's so dope.
You know your music is good when you press it on vinyl. Like they dropped season 1 soundtrack on vinyl. I'm sure they're gonna do the same.
That'll be dope
for season 2.
Yeah.
You were in Insecure, which I mentioned earlier for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Is that arc over with, or could you see?
Actually, I come back. I just wrapped another episode a couple weeks ago. I mean, my part I don't have a big part, but any kind of part you can have on Insecure because it's such a good show, and I adore Issa Rae so much. I look up to her absolutely, and she's just a great person who deserves everything that's happening to her now. But yeah, it's a great show, and being a part of it, even in that capacity, any capacity, has been fun. So having a lot of fun in that. Yep.
Great. Let's go to the audience for a couple questions. Go. Hey.
Hi. I wanted to know. If your character was able to meet anybody in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who would it be and why?
Ooh, I'd have to say T'Challa. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like, why would you not want to meet Black Panther? But I won a one-way ticket to Wakanda. Like, that's part of the deal. Because when I watched the movie, I was pissed. I was like, Wakanda's not real. My travel agent said I can't get there. So, yeah, I mean, and I think it's because he's Chadwick Boseman. I mean, okay, he's Black Panther, but in as far as your question, he's Black Panther. He runs his own country, and in his universe is amazing. I mean, everything about Wakanda is amazing, and I just want to go. And I feel like the best way to go, VIP, would be knowing Black Panther.
You might get there through the MCU. I mean, that's what I love about this Marvel verse. Like it still feels like we're in early stages.
Don't even toy with my emotions.
And you
like
never
that.
know. There could be a Luke Cage Black Panther crossover.
That would be pretty freaking epic.
That would be great.
Yeah.
We got one last question. Here we go.
We're going to take our last question from an online viewer.
Okay.
Taizé wants to know, if your character is experimented on like Luke Cage, what would your superpower be?
Okay, I always feel like this answer makes people look at me like, now you're judging. I say I want to be invisible because I could get away with stuff that obviously I can't when I'm seen. So I feel like when you're invisible, there's so much you can do. Like, and I think that will be my superpower, would be to be invisible.
I like it. Gabrielle, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So cool to talk to you. Thank you guys for checking out this Build series interview. Thank you guys for watching this wherever you may be. And you can check out Luke Cage tonight, 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific. Season 2 is great. Definitely check it out. Great to talk to you.